Welcome to Innovating Education, where we explore the innovative ideas, groundbreaking technology, and inspiring individuals shaping the future of education. I'm your host, Dr. Riley Williams, and today we're diving into a fascinating conversation with special guests Tyler Hunt and Carrie Wright, the co founders of TEACH LLC. Their company is on a mission to empower teachers with powerful, intuitive tools that simplify curriculum planning, assessment creation, and data analysis, freeing up more time for what truly matters: personalized, engaging learning experiences. Tyler, Carrie, welcome to the show.
Thanks. We're excited to be here.
So, before we get into the details of what you're building, I'd love to hear about how this all started. Tyler, what was the moment when you realized, okay, we need to do something about this?
Mm. Yeah, so it really takes us back a couple years. We were attending a conference in Baltimore, and we were introduced to the artificial intelligence in a more kind of formative, professional platform. We played around with it a little bit beforehand. It, our task at this certain conference with Avid was to kind of align some of those goals of Avid with some of our district's goals. And so we really took some of that generative AI platform and we just started to prompt it a little bit, do some things with it. And we got some really good results fast immediately. And that's what really the ride back from that conference to home. We really started brainstorming these ideas. If we could take something like Avid's standards or guidelines and then incorporate those with some of our district goals to produce something, then we said, hey, this could really lead us into producing and helping our teachers create lesson plans that are standard aligned, that are differentiated, provide accommodation for our special ed students. And the list just goes on and on from there. So that's really where we broke the ground with artificial intelligence.
Truly incredible how the best ideas often come from seeing a real world everyday challenge and then deciding to step up with a solution. With TEACH, it sounds like you're tapping into something teachers have needed for a really long time: practical support that actually lightens the load without overcomplicating the process. So, AI in education is a rapidly evolving space. How does TEACH differentiate itself from other AI driven edtech platforms?
Right now, we're really doing our best just to focus on Virginia schools. And so we're focusing on those districts. Tyler and I have both worked as public educators in Virginia for many years. We still do, actually. And so we are taking our show on the road, though, and showing all of the other districts in Virginia what we can do. Something that makes us different is we show teachers how to use ChatGPT itself. It's not wrapped up in any cute wrappers like Magic School AI or other tools. We want to show you how to use a free account to do the majority of your work. And so that's a big thing that makes us different compared to other ed tech companies. We're also from here. We're not only from the United States, we're from Virginia. We know these educational difficulties. And now we also are working from that foundation, add these AI tools and processes into it.
Can you walk me through what does the process look like for a teacher using your platform for the first time?
Yeah, with the platform that we use when we talk with other districts as well as our own is we have really explored and used chat GPTs. So a typical introduction to that is really just getting the teachers, not only the teachers, but the administrators as well and district leaders, because they play just as big as role as the educators do. And it's really to get to knowing the platform, how to add documents, how to attach documents, how to save a thread, how to rename a thread, how to even interact with the actual GPT itself to get it to behave and to answer the way that you want it to. One of the biggest things that we talk about, you can get better results by the way that you prompt. And there's all kinds of different types of prompting styles with that too.
Yeah. And so a lot of times when we work with teachers that very first time, it's having them bring some real world tasks that they're going through. We ask them to bring their standards, bring their curriculum pacing if they have one. And then we show how these specific prompts can get you the results that you need to very quickly.
And I guess the biggest thing now too is AI is constantly updating. It's every day,
Oh,
every
yeah.
hour, every minute, every second. There's a new update or there's a new feature. Something that we bring and teach with our consulting company is that we give our clients those immediate
Oh,
updates
yeah.
and those immediate features. And I think it's so important now, especially that not only is AI big for educators, is it a big change, but if they don't know exactly what's out there, it's almost like sometimes you can have too many resources as a teacher
Yeah.
that you get confused and even bogged down more with what's presented to you. So another big thing that we offer is that we always stay on top of those updates. And by us being able to work in the trenches with the district we work in, we can apply those and we really know
Mhm.
what's effective and what really works. Instead of just someone saying, hey, this chat GPT would be great to use this for this method or for this teaching. We're actually in there in the trenches every day trying this stuff out to see what works and see what doesn't.
Mhm.
How do you ensure that the AI recommendations align with the best practices in pedagogy and stay grounded in human centered teaching?
Good question. Huh. We both were in the classroom as teachers when COVID was here. And we saw that was the biggest time when students were not in the building that it truly impacted the quality of education. And so we want to make sure that when teachers are back now in the schools facing students every day, that they can spend that time effectively and efficiently to make those relationships, to truly gauge understanding that a machine never could. But we're going to do things to ensure that their lesson plans are ready. They know how to analyze the data from all of their formative assessments. And so when you say best practices for pedagogy, that's something that we ask the teachers to put into their prompts to generate their lesson plans and to plan out their curriculum. Whether they're followers of John Hattie or any other educational theorist, whatever they in their district believe are the best practices, whatever they are, all you have to do is say, hey, I'm designing this curriculum for X number of weeks, and I need for all of the lesson plans to follow the ideas of John Hattie and gradual release, let's say. And so we can bake all of that into our prompts that we ask.
Now, some educators are very cautious about integrating AI into their classrooms. What steps are you taking to build trust
Mm.
and show teachers the benefits of these tools?
Yeah. So the biggest thing that we start with is AI is not here to replace you as the teacher. That's our biggest thing. You are the expert in your field. You are the one that builds those relationships with your students. We really stress that AI is more of a tool. It is a tool that's in your accessories, in your tool belt for you to use. The biggest thing is to show it that it is a truly a virtual collaborative partner.
Mhm.
It is a great way to brainstorm ideas. Is it a solution? It might be a solution to help, but is it an overall solution to replace the teacher and to effectively have student success? No. It's there to help that process. We see the shortage area in
Mm.
teachers. We see the burnout. We see the everyday administrative tasks that teachers have to do as being a counselor, a nurse, a hallway supervisor. Their planning's always be getting like cut shorter and shorter. But yet the demands of what they're supposed to do with each student keeps climbing. So with this tool with artificial intelligence, we really stress that this is something that you can take like lesson planning, data analysis, IEPs, reading plans, all of these things you can take, and AI can really significantly help reduce the time that you're spending on those.
Something else, going back to asking what makes our company a little bit different, is Tyler has developed a script that allows you to take your student roster and those quiz scores. And we don't want to ever enter student names or addresses or personal details into these platforms. But when you use this script, it takes that student name off of it, assigns them a random ID. You can do all of your data analysis you want to with those quiz scores and then pull it back out of the AI platform and have the student names tied to that data in a very safe way. So that's something else that really sets us off from other companies. And when we can say to school districts that kind of a process will ensure your student data privacy, that's something that a lot of districts really enjoy.
I love what you said, how your philosophy emphasizes that technology should be an ally and not a replacement for teachers.
So
So, what feedback have you received from teachers who've started using these tools? Can you share a success story that highlights the impact of your platform?
sure. Here's one success story that we like to roll out a good bit. We are working with a group of elementary school teachers, And the teacher walked into our after school session with a huge cup of Starbucks coffee. And she said, I'm a very experienced educator. This is a brand new grade level for me because sometimes principals do that. You get assigned a new grade level. I'm also having by my grade level team, they've said I got to do math and write all the plans for that. I don't like math, it's not my favorite subject. And so she's already in a very uncomfortable space. And she said, then I have to write all of the plans for my team. And I said, I bet that you're getting ready to leave this training with that big cup of coffee and go home and write plans all night, aren't you? She said, oh, yes, definitely. And so then we showed her some very quick and efficient prompts to use to take her standards and her curriculum to pace out the plans for the next week, writing the lesson plans with the objectives the way that her building principal wants to, following the educational theories that the district believes in. And bam, within 10 minutes, all of her weekly lesson plans are done. And she said, oh, that's great, but now I have to put it into a PowerPoint presentation. That takes forever. I said, no, just ask it. Just save it right at the bottom. Put this into a set of slides for me. And there's lots of different slide generators out there, but we just showed her very quickly within ChatGPT how to do that. And she said, thank you guys so much. I'm ditching this coffee. I'm going home and having a glass of wine. And so that to me is just so worth it to hear an experienced educator. This is not some young, fresh out of the box teacher who's filled with technology and everything else. This is a very seasoned teacher, and she's able to get onto this platform using the processes that we showed her to enjoy her evening. And that's what it's all about.
I love how you guys said that your platform is not just about saving time.
Yeah. So I think sometimes we get wrapped up as educators what we think is best for us at the present moment. But really, when we look at AI is something that our students are going to see in the future in their careers. AI is something that they're going to see in their future as education goes if they continue in college.
Now, your platform focuses on curriculum planning, assessment creation, and data analysis. Are there any new features or functionalities that you're working on?
Something that we really enjoyed using recently, there's so many new things. One is let's just talk about ChatGPT and projects. It allows you to store a couple of different conversations and chats all in one folder. So it's a great way to organize and tie together several different tasks that you're doing all together in one. So if I'm analyzing reading data from grades 3, 4, and 5, every time I go to that, I'm going to go to that one project space. There's great instructions that I can add to that one small space to tell how that chat GPT product should perform and behave. And so that's just one of many that we're using where we're rolling that out.
They also have a new introduction to what they're calling, it's in beta mode right now, and it's just for Plus and Pro users, the paid accounts. But there's a feature on there called Task. And I see a very good opportunity in the future with this or where they're headed with it. But basically, task is something that as a teacher, I can go in and set up daily reminders, weekly reminders, monthly reminders. If I wanted to, I could set up every 5 minutes, I could have a reminder. And I can send that either push notification on my desktop or I can get that as a push notification to my email. But the ways I have been using it is I'll call it alliteration. I love alliteration. So maybe Wednesday wisdoms. And every Wednesday it sends me, I prompted it, look, every Wednesday I want you to send me a different way that I can prompt this platform to provide me a more differentiated lesson plan, but at the same time be more aligned to the standards. So every Wednesday it actually emails and pushes a notification out to me with different techniques that I can use in prompting to get a more effective, standard aligned, differentiated lesson plan. And I think while that's huge, I think that's opening the door to more of the operator sense of AI, the AGI that is supposed to be 10 times smarter than the AI we see now. But I can see the door opening to more automated tasks like that for educators. And again, it's not to replace, it's to enhance what you already know and save that time on going out. And I saw the other day somebody had on a social media platform, when does AI become an actual accommodation for a student?
Oh, wow.
You know?
Wow.
So that's something we can see opening the doors,
Yeah.
you know.
So, What kinds of data does your platform analyze? How does it translate those insights into actionable strategies for teachers?
It doesn't matter any data that you got. We've started using, if you have ChatGPT on your phone, you can have it look out of your camera. And so I could even have it show just the layout of my classroom. Is this an effective layout for my classroom? I can talk back and forth to it. I can take and I could show it paper and pencil places where I have gone and just done an observational checklist from that class period. Hey, can you look at this and put this into a table for me? Anytime that I have a quizzing platform that gives me an export that has an Excel sheet that I can download, that's always very ripe for that. Our state tests, when they come back in Virginia, we get plenty of spreadsheets. And so what we do a lot of times is either we'll run them through our script to anonymize those results, or we'll just take off the columns with the student names on it and upload those. So any kind of data you can imagine that is just visual, paper, pencil. If I have an export from something, any kind of data that's there, and there's so much of it now in K-12 education, this is a perfect way to analyze any data you have cooking for your class.
Now, do you see your tools being useful across all grade levels and subjects, or are there particular areas where the technology shines the most?
I think it all shines 100%. I think the different types of interactions with it now, that's different from primary grades all the way up to your secondary grades. I think it's just different in how it's to be used. Now, I would definitely say the lower grades, in my opinion, you're probably going to have more teacher use with that. Not to say that the students are not using it some, but in my opinion, I think if we do start introducing it heavily in education with students, the lower grades is where you're going to, especially in elementary, you're going to have to learn how to effectively prompt. I think that should be the fundamental aspects, the safety of it, like all that security stuff. But yeah, so to get back on the original question before I get off too on the path there, yes, it is effective across all platforms, all grade levels, just the different ways that it's used that's going to be tremendously different.
Now, as AI continues to evolve, what trends in education are you most excited about? How does TEACH plan to stay at the forefront of these changes?
Again, we like to stay on top of using all of these tools and figuring out how K-12 educators can be using them in their professional lives. I think perhaps what I'm most excited about is when Elon Musk releases an Optimus robot, and a lot of the guts of that are running on AI systems. When we have our students who are going to be graduating into a world where those robots are very affordable. We're going to start seeing them more and more, not just the one that's zooming around on the carpet, vacuuming up, but it's going to be a humanoid robot that we're going to have to expect our students to be able to manage an AI system to interact with those completely and safely and effectively. So right now in the state of Virginia, they've put AI into their research standards for English classes 6 through 12. That's just the first shot across the bow, I think, on seeing AI processes getting into there. But as we move to a more automated future and robotic future, having students comfortable with AI and prompting is going to be essential.
I could not agree more.
Mhm.
So, if you could give one piece of advice to educators who are hesitant to adopt AI in their classrooms, what would it be?
I think it would just simply be we encourage our students every day in the classroom to learn, right? Try something different. Something I can remember even in my young playing days of sports. I had a coach one time tell me, and it resonated with me. We have to find a way of learning how to be comfortable while being uncomfortable,
Mm.
right? By taking those things and being in a situation like with educators now, and it's okay to be that way, right? We want to be that way because we care for our students and we want what's best for our students. But I really give this advice. It's just look at the world around you right now. Look at the advancements. Look at in politics, look in business, look at things that are going on. And all you hear is AI, artificial intelligence. And I think as an educator, you have to realize that, look, while it's something I really don't agree with right now, I have to do what's best for my students.
Mhm.
And if I look in the future, I know that my students in some way, some form, in some capacity are going to have to interact with artificial intelligence, in my opinion. even if nothing happens with it right now, let's say on February 24th, it completely just ends,
Mhm.
right? There's at least enough artificial intelligence out there right now that our students have to be prepared to deal with in their job and their education and everything else. So I think we have to look at it. And one piece of advice is look at that lens of what do I need to do that's best for my students?
Carrie, what about you?
I agree completely. You got to try, you got to get on there. And we have seen when we work with schools and school districts, we see the whole spectrum of early adopters. Let me try it right now to this thing is the absolute devil and it should be banned on religious grounds. People all over the spectrum, but you have to get on there and try it because, and again, reach out to us. If you got a question about doing it, teachers, administrators, anybody, reach out to us. We'll show you how to do it safely and effectively. Because sometimes I told Tyler the other day, I said, what if I were to just walk by a teacher's classroom and drop off a nail gun? It's a very time saving, effective machine that could be dangerous. And you may pick it up the first time and not even know how to turn it on. So I just don't even mess with it anymore. And so many educators by now have tried some AI tools. If they've had a bad experience with it, they're very willing to just let that thing sit in the corner. I'll never touch it again. Let me open up my file cabinet full of old paper worksheets and let's keep going. But you got to get on there and try it. That's the best advice.
Such a wonderful metaphor. Tyler, Carrie, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your insights. And for our listeners, if you want to learn more about how Teach AI can simplify curriculum planning, assessments, and data analysis, visit their website at teachAIEDU.com. You'll find out all the information that you need to get in touch and explore how these tools can support your school community. Thanks again for tuning in to Innovating Education. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, and share this episode with fellow educators. Until next time, keep teaching, keep learning, and keep innovating.